Imagine witnessing a town so lifeless and barren that it seems impossible for it to ever revive. Now imagine being asked to believe that this same town could return to life before your very eyes. This is the extraordinary story of Hazrat Uzair, peace be upon him, a prophet chosen to demonstrate one of Allah's greatest miracles, a lesson that would leave even the most skeptical in awe. What happened during those mysterious 100 years? How did a desolate town transform into a symbol of Allah's infinite power? Stay with us as we unravel the astonishing tale of faith, resurrection, and divine wisdom. Hazrat Uzair, peace be upon him, was a noble and esteemed prophet among the ranks of the prophets. Allah commanded him to go to a certain town. When he arrived, he found the town desolate and abandoned. He was puzzled and wondered why he had been sent there. In this moment of reflection, he questioned how Allah would revive this dead town. This thought came as an expression of amazement. Allah Almighty mentions this in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 259. Or like the one who passed by a town that had fallen into ruin. He said, how will Allah bring this to life after its death? So Allah caused him to die for 100 years, then raised him. He said, how long have you remained? He, Uzair, said, I have remained a day or part of a day. He said, rather, you have remained 100 years. Look at your food and drink. It has not spoiled. And look at your donkey, and we will make you a sign for the people. And look at the bones of the donkey, how we raise them, and then we cover them with flesh. When it became clear to him, he said, I know that Allah is over all things competent. During this period, Uzair alayhi salam's soul was taken in a state of sleep. That's why, upon being asked by Allah how long he had stayed, he thought he had merely been asleep. He was unaware that he had been dead for 100 years. Hazrat Uzair had fallen asleep at dawn, and when he was revived, it was the time of Asr, afternoon. This is why he replied that he must have been asleep for part of a day. Allah instructed him to look at his food and drink, which remained fresh despite the passage of 100 years, while his donkey's bones were scattered and decayed. As Uzair watched, the bones of the donkey began to move, joined together and form a skeleton. Flesh grew over it, and the donkey came to life and began braying. Seeing this, Uzair alayhi salam exclaimed, Indeed, my Lord is capable of everything. During his miraculous death, the town had become lively and populated. Hazrat Uzair approached the people and asked if they knew Uzair. They replied that Uzair had passed away over 100 years ago. Hazrat Uzair revealed his identity, but they did not believe him. They brought an elderly woman who was 120 years old and asked her about Uzair. She described 10 signs to identify him. When she saw Uzair alayhi salam and recognized him, the people believed him. Uzair alayhi salam stayed among the people and began teaching them the Torah anew, as they had forgotten it. The people were deeply influenced by him and began honoring him. Gradually, they started to believe that Uzair alayhi salam was the son of Allah due to this great miracle. Allah mentions in Surah At-Tawbah, and the Jews say, Uzair is the son of Allah. This is their statement from their mouths. They imitate the saying of those who disbelieved before them. May Allah destroy them. How are they deluded? This grave crime of associating partners with Allah continued among the Jews across generations. Even in the present time, some Jews believe Uzair alayhi salam to be the son of Allah. They regard him as holy and claim he belongs to a sacred lineage, venerating him as a deity. This is their shirk, associating partners with Allah. May Allah curse them, and he will surely punish them for this crime. No matter how elevated a person becomes, even if they achieve the highest closeness to Allah, they remain a servant of Allah. They can never become Allah or his son, nor can they share in Allah's divinity. Allah is free from any association or lineage, such as father and son. The greatest misguidance of humanity is when people witness extraordinary acts by a chosen servant of Allah, and without understanding the spiritual reality, proclaim that the person is Allah in human form, his son, or his partner. Allah mentions the reality of Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, in Surah Al-Imran, verse 59. Indeed, the example of Jesus to Allah is like that of Adam. He created him from dust. Then he said to him, Be, and he was. Therefore, holding the belief that any prophet is the son of Allah is utterly baseless and false.